So I'm making a little video of my Heilite trailer, also pronounced Heilite. There's some discussion about that, but I'm going to call it Heilite because that's all I've ever heard. So this one's a 1964 based on its serial number, although it's titled differently. But basically what it is a single wheel trailer. They were off around 1953 to about 64, 65, and a couple different models. This one was a model 161, designating the one as a one wheel. There's also a 162, which is basically the same thing, just had an axle and two wheels on it. Later on they had 170, which was a two-wheel expandable, and they had a couple other ones, but and a couple other obviously changes along the way. But for the most part, it's basically an aluminum box trailer with storage in the bottom half, with a canvas material on top, which allowed for a bed and a tent that would fold up inside of it. So I'm gonna take the camera with me, kind of give you a walk around here to the rear. You can see the one single trailer tire. Maybe better to see it from this side here. It's kind of dirty, but I keep it greased well. Single shock on it. So you keep it slightly higher pressure because there's one wheel. Two taillights, brake lights, turn signals. Top canvas. So this is original canvas. It's been treated to some waterproofing at one point or another. It could use it again, but I'm kind of wary of messing with it at all. This side has some scratches you can see on it. At one time, someone stored it on its sides, so on both sides it's kind of scratched up. You can see how some of it can be shined up pretty well. You see the reflection there. Even the rear is in pretty good shape. A little dirty, but it's kind of all the reflection. There's a couple people that have polished these up pretty well, almost to mirror-like surfaces. Not sure if it's really worth the effort. I'm toying with my 1971 Volkswagen Bus. I'll show you the hitch setup as well. These people are curious. The thing that people always ask is, it just looks funny going down the road because it's pivoting on one wheel, but it's affixed to your vehicle by 2 points. So really it's one with your vehicle. So if you take a hard left, it swings outwards to your right. So the hitch setup, I mean, people attach these different ways, but most times you see them attached to a bumper kind of mount. Whatever can do it strongly enough, but in this case I have attached to these brackets that go to the frame and they're bolted in place. To me it's a little stronger, going something more structurally sound than a not so flimsy bumper. But they're 1-inch ball hitches, which is kind of unique. There's a couple people that reproduce them now, but you can't really go off and buy those off a shelf. But basically it's just a traditional ball hitch, normal receiver tightened on. Where we are, there's a law for a dual chain setup. I mean, dual chain is really meant for one hitch systems, and they cross over. I'm really just doing to be compliant, and also just adds another level of security. So in case my hitch setup does break, at least that way these chains are taut enough that it will maintain the trailer attached to the vehicle by the bumpers to safely get off to the side of the road. And then go to the other side. And there's a 4-pin connector for the trailer lights. So I'll open up one side just so you can see. So how they are, basically, each side is just a big door. This side has the latch and a lock system. I'll go to the other side just because it's easier to open. This side's missing the latch. I do have it, but they tend to wear out. But it does hold fine with a key. And there's the Heilite little original keychain. Camp in 1 minute trailers, and it shows it popping out. Anyways, it's a little messy in there, but it offers a lot of storage. You can see it's wood top and bottom. I believe some of them are different depending on the year. It kind of gives you an idea. So it goes right through on both sides. You can pass things right through it, and when the top is opened up, you can access what's inside of it from inside the tent itself or outside. So it's kind of nice. Lock that up. So what I'll do is I'll open it up All right, so I'll put you back in this position because I'm going to open the trailer now, kind of show you what's inside of it and how it works. There's two different layouts. So the top portion, which is where you see the canvas and up, is a cover. Underneath there is basically the bed and the poles. I'll show you how the feet work. Basically that's it. They all expand, all four corners. So it really helps with leveling it. And then you just tighten it back up with these wing nuts. And you go back up when you're done. Lock them in place, make sure the tights, they don't fall out on the road. Not that it's ever happened to me, but I'm sure it's happened. They're pretty worn out. So I will pop the canvas top off. All right, so that bang was just a support pole on the inside. Here you can see it opened up. It's a little lumpy right now. It's actually, it can be tightened up a little bit to make it a little bit more taut like a tent. And there's snaps on the outside that come around. Let's do one of those up just to show you what it looks like. Around the other side. Your basic military kind of canvas tent. Again, you do the buttons on the outside here. It's ripping a little bit, but so again, has the name right there, Lodi, California. There's little spring-loaded little things on the side that, you know, stake it in case it's windy. There's even tie downs a normal tent would have. I've never had to need it. I've never been anywhere too windy with it. It's pretty sturdy on its own. So we'll go on inside. You get enough light in here. All the windows are closed. I didn't think of that, but so there's 3 windows in this one. I've seen people add them, but let's go down here and just show you the door. So again, this floor comes up and then snaps onto the trailer, which makes it, I mean, you can see how taut it goes when you put the, so there's a button there, button here. It's pretty tight, so it's quite taut. I've never had a problem with mosquitoes. Actually, I've had more bugs get in the bus than I have had in this. So I'm not going to do it all up, but you can see the point. It gets right across there. This tent in general has had, you know, there's patches all over the thing. It's very original. There's stitches and patches, but for what it is, it's in great shape. You can see the poles on the inside. Very traditional tent pole. There's one, the overhead, and 3. These ones, they go make this outer room over here fold down, and there's these little wing nuts that tighten it up. So if you need a little bit more strength, you just push it out that way. It basically gives the tautness to the tent canvas by pushing it out, tightening it up. And then the bottom, there's a clip in each corner. Again, they tend to rip out. These are replaced a couple times, but they're supposed to be buttons to hold it in position. There's a few additions to these trailers. So for one, I don't have the kitchen set up, which was basically a matching aluminum, for lack of better words, it's just a folding leg table that you put your stove on. They are quite rare because I guess some people didn't order them, or they probably got thrown away, but they do sell for quite a bit of money. I mean, in relative terms here compared to the trailer costs. And same as well, there's other add-on rooms. So there's a dinette room, which basically would go on the front here, kind of like an awning off the front. Again, I've only seen a couple of those. I know someone locally that has one, although it just seems like more mature to set up compared to these modern pop-up tents that we use. And then there's also 2 different size canvases. So if you're looking for poles or you're replacing your canvas, there's a couple companies. The best thing to do is join one of the Heilite groups, Heilite Mafia on Facebook or so forth, but or the Sampa has a page on them. But there's 2 different widths from the corner over here, from the trailer, that goes out to here, this corner here. There's 2 different widths available. One's an 8-foot, one's a 10-foot. I think, I can't remember exactly, but obviously that plays into how far this stretches out. So you have a bit more extra room on the inside, about 8-foot, 10-foot, you have 2 extra feet. So this is the larger one right here. I think the earlier ones mostly came in the 8-foot, and then they had an option where you can upgrade. Then the later ones, I think, were all standardized by that point. By the 60, I think, or 62 on, they're all the 10-foot. But again, I could be wrong. I'm just going by what I've seen people post. I'm no expert on these things. All right, so closing it up. I'm on the inside. Let's just get our orientation here. There's the bed. Window, window, window. Undone the clips in the corners. Go up, trace your way up to the top. These are loosened, and then I basically fold them up. There's a stopping point here. Tighten them up. The other side, same thing, but this one, it goes all the way up. But I just finger tight that. So what I'm gonna do is we grab the bottom. I'm not sure I'm gonna get this. Trying to get this in the frame, but so I'm folding this up. As I fold it up, this is gonna want to come down. The rest stays pretty good in position, but this goes up. What you're doing, you're folding this up. You can see it kind of dangling there. The tent wants to come in now. But that goes up. You can then, mine has this button here. I don't really use it too much, but there, that's closed up. So I'm gonna take a step back and kind of show you. That's folded. Canvas is now blowing in the wind. Then you want to step out a little bit because this kind of falls at this point. Hold that up like that. And then you start closing it. You push it. So what I do is I let it fall. There's me climbing out. If you have 2 people, you can get on the outside and just close it. But for me, you just push it over on the inside and climb out the bottom of the zipper over here. So you can see here when it falls over on its own, it's kind of a mess. But all you want to do is lift up the lowest bow here and just kind of push and tuck it all in. You just want to tuck these folds in place. So here's one. Another. Then we're getting nice and neat. So the top goes back. Once I go around a few times, basically it's gonna all tucked in, looks like that. Just the top goes on. I'll show you what the bottom looks like. So this is the part that rests on the ground. So I don't normally fold it out on gravel or wet grass if I'm camping. I bring a tarp just to lay down, or even 2, fold it in half, just to give it a bit of a floor. And then once I've opened it, I've also thrown another mat on the inside. So I'm trying to protect the canvas as much as possible. So if you fold this out on gravel or dirty or hard ground, get a couple of rocks underneath it. Number one, you're gonna feel it. Number two, it's gonna rip the canvas. I mean, it's durable, but it's gonna put wear into it anyways. I'm trying to, preserve this as much as I can. So this last little flap just folds over, and then I'll take you back when I get the canvas back on. So here it is, I'll fold it up with the top on. So I'm just showing this off. This is a hitch adapter for the single wheel. Because it has 2 hitching points, you can tow it with a modern car with a normal receiver, but basically the hitch would be there, hitch would be right here, chains with the loops, and that'll basically tie it to a modern car or a normal receiver. The issue with that is you can't put too much weight in the trailer because you don't want the side-to-side momentum, or the side-to-side, just the weight of the trailer, but putting all the stress, especially all the leverage. Number one, making sure this is custom made, making sure it's strong enough, but it's putting a lot of stress on the corners of your square receivers. So either get a bigger square receiver. I mean, you just think of the torsion. It's not really made to take the side-to-side torsion. But I figure, I mean, the trailer's so light, even if you have a few campings in it, it probably wouldn't hurt. There's lots of people have towed thousands of miles on normal receivers. Just something to think of. Don't put, hundreds of pounds of weight in it with that.